To make a video that kind of shows a long-term vision, and this is a good video to watch with loved ones. It's good to watch with maybe family or friends or someone you live with that maybe you hear every single day that you wake up, because as we know, the 5 people you surround yourself by the most, you're the average of that, right? So we already know that. So we know that, you can surround yourself by the office for XYZ amount of hours, but the person you live with, you're probably going to see more consistently, right? So we want to make sure that we understand where we're going, but also our loved ones understand where we're going, because they're going to be your support system, or they're going to be your negative draining energy system, right? So make sure you have to understand this. So let's go over this really fast. There's a lot here, and I just want to catch up everybody on what the AM position's like. So once again, as you guys know, and as I've taught, the AM position for family, it's assistant manager position, so that's what we're talking about. The assistant manager position is more like tuition. I want you to see it as the untraditional school route, okay? There's a traditional school system, and that teaches you reading, writing, arithmetic, and the basic common core knowledge systems that you need to learn to kind of function in the world today. But it doesn't teach a lot of other things out there that the real world requires. And this AM position will give you those if you take it full on, and the keyword's pass, right? You can learn a little bit, like you can take little one-liners from it if you don't pass, and maybe go apply it to another job and maybe do well, but if you don't pass it, you're not going to get the full benefits. Just like college, if you don't take the course seriously and you don't study for the course, you don't do all the right things, you're not going to pass the class, and therefore you're going to get the F on the letter grade, and therefore you won't move on to the next course. So understand that, okay? This is not the end-all be-all, so if you're an assistant manager right now, you're not trying to be an assistant manager for the rest of your life. Remember, you're trying to go eventually open your own business, run a system, do all these right things, right? Now, if mom's sitting there, right, and she's like, run a business, this guy doesn't even make his own bed, right? I understand. Just understand there's motives behind this, and we've all seen your son or your daughter get really excited about something and work overnight on something because they had energy and they had excitement towards it, and they've actually excelled really well because there was some sort of motive that actually inspired them. And some students, unbelievably, don't get excited by the standard traditional school system's teaching methods, where it's read a book, take a test, read a book, take a test. And after you do that for 19 years in a row, it can get very repetitive, and it can get very boring. Even if it's new knowledge they're attaining, it can be tough to sit in a lecture hall if you've been doing it for the first 18 years of your life already. So I want you to understand that. By the way, I'm not against college. I did get a college degree, but I want to run over the benefits of this, because if you know my story, hopefully you watched my story before this so you understand where I'm coming from and why I'm so passionate about this. I promise you, it's not because we need your kid running an assistant manager position. This is truly my charity act in a way to give back to the community, to help others. I've helped over 10 people create a 6-figure income at a young age. I paid all my bills a year ahead, and I've done all these things because I followed this program, and the keywords I passed it. So let's run over it, and let's teach you what it means to pass everything, because once again, this is an untraditional school system in a lot of ways. So the AM position is more like tuition, okay? That's more tuition in a sense. It's more like them putting their time into it. It's like college, okay? While their job is to sell Cutco, right? So I'm going to retract and talk to you as if you're the rep. As you already know, you've probably watched the AM videos. Your job's to sell Cutco, and anything you make from the AM pay, that's like savings. That should be savings. That should be your bad debt clearing fund on a lot of ways. And here's why. So when you become an assistant manager, I'm going to take this off. It's more like college. Okay, I'm going to talk about what the tuition is, and it's putting the time in to learn this, okay? But it's more like your college. So what you're going to learn in this is, first off, money management. It's huge for our assistant managers to save money, because if they ever do want to advance to open their own business, it costs money to make money in the business world, especially in McAllen, especially in the Valley, especially in anywhere in the U.S. It's going to cost money for advertisement costs, storefronts, all these things. So make sure that we understand that it takes money to make money, okay? We don't just print money off trees and give it to you, okay? We print money off trees, and then you got to go work for the money somehow, right? So the management money that you get, so as an assistant manager, the percentage that you're making off the entire office of your district office, that's going into savings if you're smart about it, okay? Once again, In my office, I don't really take control. I kind of help them and I guide them. And I'm like, all right, you're on 1%. I understand you have some bad debt that we have to clear, or I understand that you have a car payment that's up the kazoo, that for some reason you got that car and we're trying to get rid of that car or whatever the reason is. But life happens, and sometimes we get kids in really bad situations financially, and they need their AM pay as well as their personal sales pay at sometimes. So maybe they put half into savings and then half goes to them every week, right? So we're paid weekly every single Friday with direct deposit, so if you know that. So the money management, okay? So the management money that you're making, the ideally is to save 100%. It is so cool to see kids do this, because I just opened a bunch of offices across the state. That's not how I got this, by the way. The floor was talking smack, so I got in a fight with it at the bike trail. So I ate my whole face off on a lot of aspects. But I promise you I don't always look like this, okay? But we've opened a lot of offices, and some of the kids actually saved 100%. And when they opened their office, they were getting $3,000, $4,000 released just from their AM pay, and that covered all their opening expenses. So with the company's $6,000 that the company gave them too, that's like saved right there for the rainy day fund, which is a huge win. So just understanding that's a big deal. If you can save 100%, save it, baby. That's a cool thing. So we teach savings. We teach management savings. Another big thing we teach to reps is good debt and bad debt. So what everybody needs to understand is there's such thing as good debt, right? Everyone thinks that there's only just bad debt out there. A lot of what people have is bad debt. So that's why it's common that everyone thinks there's bad debt and there's only bad debt. So good debt is when you're using OPM, others people's money, to leverage to make money every month or make money every week or whatever you want to do. So if I borrowed from the bank, right, 9 to 1 or whatever, and I borrowed, so someone went in there and put $100,000 in, and the bank's going to loan out $900,000 or $1 million or whatever it is. They're going to loan out more than what they got because they're allowed to do that, right? And when they loan that money out, people are out there leveraging that, right? Maybe they're buying fourplexes, maybe they're buying apartment complexes, maybe they're buying commercial real estate building. A lot of my mentors and what I teach a lot of reps is how to leverage real estate, right? So if I have a 4-unit complex and I get them all rented, right? And we teach how to do all that kind of stuff down the road. But let's say you have a 4-plex, right? And you have 4 tenants, right? And the mortgage is $3,000 a month, right? But you're collecting $4,000 a month each month, right? Well, that's a cash flow of $1,000. That's something I would say is good debt because it's putting money in your pocket. That's called an asset. Now, like this house here. This house here, I raced to pay it off. I paid my personal resident house off in 1 year. I paid it off so fast because I knew my house, the one I live in, was bad debt. It was bad debt because it wasn't making me any money in the sense of the mortgage payment. The mortgage payment came in and no one wanted to pay that and give me more for some reason, right? So it was bad debt, right? Now, do I work from home? Yeah, we can go into an elaborate detail of how it possibly could make me money, but essence, it was bad debt, so I paid it off very, very fast, right? So the goal is to get rid of bad debt. If you know anything, there's a guy named Dave Ramsey. So you also learned this. Dave Ramsey, got to meet him actually and take pictures and do all that kind of stuff and have videos with him. Dave Ramsey's a really cool guy, and he teaches all about, a very conservative approach of clear all your debt, live with no credit cards, that kind of concept. And it's great for people that are really behind or in the middle class or have a spending problem or anything like that. Great logic. It could really help you learn how to live a very stress-free life, at least from the financial standpoint. So Dave Ramsey teaches all about clearing bad debt. We're real big on that. And my concept is, if you have a lot of bad debt, we definitely got to save 100% of it and stop worrying about the payments and start just selling Cutco to make those payments. But save all your money, because clearly you have a problem with saving money. So I'm real big on save, 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 until you have that total number needed to clear all your bad debt. Just save a lot of money. Make the minimum payments, but save, 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 and clear that bad debt within 6 months, 1 year. If you put a big focus on it, you could probably clear it a lot faster than what you think right now. So The goal is clear bad debt, and what I try to do with all my assistant managers and with everybody I open up, I have assistant managers that are 18 years old, and a lot of them don't even have any debt, right? They don't have any bills or anything like that. And then I have some that are like 40 years old, and they're a whole different story, right? My bottom line goal is when they graduate, right, from the assistant manager college position, right, and they paid their tuition within time with their time to learn all these things, and they truly learned it all. They graduate the AM position to go maybe open their own office or go do whatever they're going to do with no bad debt. So we have no bad debt, and all we have is, usually it's just a clean slate. You literally have a no debt lifestyle, right? So we're on the Dave Ramsey logic there. And they don't have any good debt yet, so they don't have any properties that they're investing in. They don't have any crazy investment schemes that are going on already. And they're just living debt free, kind of like how I do, right? So I pay off everything I have I own, right? There's no debt in my life right now. And I'm about to go into the good debt phase, but it's taken me a while to get there. The key is getting rid of all your debt. So I teach this, okay? A vehicle to clear bad debt. We teach about a financial IQ, right? So if you haven't seen the video yet, we talk about the year ahead concept. We talk about, hey, can you get 3 months ahead at the beginning? Can you pay all your bills ahead 3 months ahead? I know some places it's hard to pay ahead for some reason, but you can do it. I promise. On my other videos, I teach you how I pay a year ahead on all the bills I have, and I pay a year ahead. So that year ahead concept, right? Another big thing is we teach the cash flow quadrant. So if you don't know what cash flow is yet, I kind of went over a little bit over there. Study this. It's a big deal. Understand the cash flow quadrant. Another great name is Robert Kiyosaki. Learn about him. And we teach about this. This is a lot about what your son or daughter will be learning while they're an assistant manager is financial IQ. I built the business to a spot where if we have a couple bad sales weeks, I'm not going to die. And guess what? I'm the one paying the bills for the office anyways. So we're okay, but as long as they're thinking rich and they're thinking the right way and they're thinking like someone who can manage money, we're going to be okay, and they're going to be okay, and eventually they'll pass and they go make $100K a year and do all that cool stuff that we've had happen for so many people. So EBSI, understanding this, okay? So the traditional school system, the traditional college route, what we have to understand teaches obedience. They teach you how to read a book, take a test, do as they say, learn these vocabulary words, and it's a lot of regurgitation, and it's a lot of just study, and then go out and show me you studied it, right? The problem with that is society today isn't what it used to be. So back in the day, we needed a lot of chips to be made, right? We need all these cool chips to be made for all the computers or whatever, right? And so we had to develop like a chain system of force, right? To make people to get a lot of hands in there to develop the chips, because we didn't have the systems to do it, we didn't have the robots to do it, we didn't have all that kind of stuff to do it. And we just needed people that can, access a data sheet and give me all the numbers really fast. A lot of people at one time can do that, right? So we needed accountants. Our engineers just needed to do the fundamental engineering stuff. Our tech people, they just needed to go and make a chip similar to the same chip, right? The problem with today is we don't need you to duplicate a chip. We need you to make it better. We don't have that better chip in the world yet. You need to think it up. So we need you to think. So I don't need you to just know the core foundations of how to build a chip. I need you to know how to make a better chip. So I need you to learn how to think. I don't need you to learn how to just put an IV in. I need you to come up with a cure to cancer now. And we're getting into this era where we need the next part of it already, because we already have the back end. We already have the robots. We already have the systems and computers that can do all the labor force that we needed back in the day, right? So we need someone who can think. We need someone who can think on their own. And unfortunately, the traditional school system hasn't made that advance yet, so they're pumping out a lot of kids with college degrees, right? Because it was the norm back in the day. If you graduated college, you got a job, by the way. That was how it worked. You graduated college, a four-year college degree, a bachelor's degree. You didn't need a master's. You actually got a job, and you got a pretty decent salary. You got benefits, right? And go look at the corporate America today. How many places give benefits on a 40-year term like they used to, right? Because remember, the job you got, you used to work it for 40 years, and you used to retire, play, and die, right? And that's kind of the system, right? It was go get a job, work 40 years. The average 35-year-old, these are facts, the average 35-year-old changes their job 9 times. So no one's working in a corporation for 40 years straight, okay? Even if they got a college degree, they're probably dibble-dabbling and flip-flopping companies, okay? How do you retain the 401k benefits with that company if you keep leaving it? How do you get where I'm going with this? So we have to understand those facts, okay? So the college system, what they do is they pump out a lot of employees, okay? Where time equals money. They're W-2'd, so on a tax form they're salary position places or hourly position places where you're a W-2. The bad part about that is taxes. Your taxes are usually automatically drafted out before you even get your check. You have no say-so. And you're taxed at a rate of 30% plus, okay? I know some of you, a lot of your moms and dads would be saying, like, oh, I have to pay like 35% or 40% because you're probably making a higher income. And that's true. But the bottom line is it's always usually 30% or higher. So they're already stuck paying 30% or higher. Your new college grads getting the $40,000 or $50,000 a year salaries, okay? So just understand that. Even if your kid graduated college and made a $100K salary position, right? They're going to lose $30K a year just to taxes, so they're only bringing in $70K. If their college debt, okay, this is another big issue going on, is $100K. And they make $100K a year, they're only bringing in $70K. Their $100K debt is actually $100K. Grasp this. What bank's going to want to be like, okay, so you're bringing in $70K a year, yeah, I'll give you this $400,000 house loan. No, they're not going to do that. Half of them wouldn't even do this because they have more debt on top of the college debt. So you're getting kids where the average age for the first home buyer, I don't know the exact one, but I know it's 30 plus already. So you're having a lot of boomerang effects happen where the kids go out to college, you shoot them out, and they come right back because they can't afford a house yet. Even if they did get a job after college, they're renting, and so they're pissing money away, and they're creating themselves even more bad debt. So their salary of like $70,000 a year now that they're actually bringing in net is turning into literally like 30 or 20 because they have to go get that cool car, they have to go live on their own and get that cool house that they're going to rent because they can't own. And they're backtracking so much. So we teach them not to do that. And we teach them to get on good debt, right? And we teach them how, I teach a lot of my people, hey, why don't you go get a duplex, right? Live in one and rent the other, and that tenant's paying your mortgage at least, right? I mean, simple stuff that's not taught in traditional school systems. But the problem is this. They go over here and they're pumped into employees. The problem with being employees, they're trading your time for money, so there's not much advances. For someone who's making a $50,000 salary, to jump to a $70,000 salary within the next year is ludicrous. That's crazy in corporate America. Your time equals money. You're not that much valuable to get that much of an increase in raise. That's not the case in the self-employment world. Because in the self-employment world, time plus V, value, right? If you add value, you can get paid more, right? Equals your income. So in Cutco, for an example, we have a $15 base pay or whatever it is. The 10 appointments a rep does if they sell $0, but they show the market. So people that are married, over 40, own a home. Once again, married, over 40, own a home. We're not going to get kids and say, hey, we're going to go sell these baseball bats. Go to all these ballerina players. Doesn't make sense. We hit the market. Married, over 40, own a home, right? So they go do this demo, they read the manual, they literally do the scripted stuff. We've taught them everything. It's the most spoon-fed direct sales company in the world, by the way, Cutco is. And we teach them how to do everything. Cut the penny, cut the rope, show them like where the Rolls Royce are nice, tell them about the forever guarantee. If they did 10 demos the right way, and they sell $0, they're still going to make a check of $150. Okay? But let's say they go to demos, and they go to a demo, and they run over everything with Mrs. Jones. Mrs. Jones goes, oh, okay, I get it. It's Cutco. It's good stuff. It's guaranteed forever. Wow, I'll actually save money in the long run with this. And you're like, hey, Miss Jones, what do you spend in the grocery store on a weekly basis? The average American will spend around $200 a week in the grocery store. They have a family of 4, right? So understanding that. And let's say, for some reason they get a whole shebang. They get $1,000 worth of Cutco, right? Well, remember, they don't have to pay that all at once, right? They can put it on a five payment plan. There's no interest, no credit check. if they put 20% down, so they're only trying out for $200, right? They try it out, right, for a whole month. If they don't like it for whatever reason, they can return it, and we'll give them a full refund of the $200. So it's like, okay, that makes sense. So they do that, and they get 10 people to put $200 on a credit card. Well, 200 times 5, what they actually bought is $1,000, right? They get paid on all of this. So they're going to get paid on $10,000. Now, if they just started, when they just start, they're at 10%, or maybe they're at 50%. If they're at 50%, they made $5,000, right? Because 10 times 1,000 is 10,000. If they're at 50%, they made half, right? Let's say they're brand new. They'd make $2,000, and they would be already at 30% for the rest of their life. Rep A sold $0, but they did 10 demos. They get $150. Rep B add value. They added value, so they get $2,000. That's a huge deal. So what you're learning is self-employment easy? Heck no. They got to study this stuff. It's like traditional school system on steroids. You got to study a lot because this equals income, right? Where if I got a job like at H-E-B and they said, go take out the carts, well, that's pretty easy. Pick up carts. I got it, right? But that's why they're only paid $8 an hour or whatever it is. Where this, I have reps that make literally, $150,000 to $200,000 a year just selling Cutco. Well, what do? They add a lot of value, So it takes time to learn how to add value. Rome wasn't built in a day, but if you figure it out, it's life-changing, truly. So understanding that. But remember, I talked about this. You probably don't want to sell knives the rest of your life, and if you do, well, rock on. I just didn't want to, and I don't think a lot of people do. Because the goal is to pass and get both of these. Time freedom and financial freedom. And the problem with the self-employment route is it still involves your time. So you're still going to have to work. You're still going to have to go put in the legwork. You're still going to have to be going doing demos. Still going to have to be taking calls. Even if you're, you build it and you have thousands of customers, you're still going to be taking calls or paying someone to take a call, and you're still going to have stuff that you're going to have to deal with, right? The goal is to build this to a big business where you have a system equal money. I teach how to do that in the management route. I teach how to do this with real estate. I teach how to do this with so many different things. And it's about pass this college course in a sense and get over here to a system where system equals money, because then you start to develop time freedom. And I guarantee you, if you're just making $150,000 a year but a system does it, you're going to be happy because you're free and you're in $150K a year, you can live off that, I promise, right? And then investments is money equals money, right? So learning this stuff and learning that the 40-40-40 plan, the 40 hours a week for 40 years of your life to retire on 40% of what you used to make isn't really there anymore because corporate America can't provide it anymore. We just don't have the systems in place, in this country at least, to do that. And a job ends up being just over broke instead of the American dream. As who said it? They said the American dream is now manufactured in China. They have a better middle class than America does already, and that's because they're on that level where they can do that, right? So remember that the middle class is getting squeezed, and people are ending up rich or they're ending up poor, and you want to learn how to get on the right side of this cash flow quadrant. So breather there. I understand this is a lot at once. Rewind this and rewatch this if you need to, but I promise you it's helpful, okay? Now, that's just the first part of stuff they'll learn within the management field. I'm real big on financial IQ, though. So they are going to have a lot of studying and a lot of learning from a financial IQ basis, and I highly encourage you, if you're a loved one watching this, like mom, dad, brother, sister, girlfriend, boyfriend, whoever it may be, watch these with them so you can see what they're learning, and you can assess it all and all that kind of good stuff. The next step is, we all know, emotions high, logic low, right? So we have a thing called emotional intelligence. This is also not talked a lot in the school system. There's a couple courses in college where they'll kind of dissect the EQ stuff and your emotional intelligence, and they'll administer personality tests, things like that. But the kids don't get to really apply it to the real world yet by learning in a classroom. As an assistant manager, let's just talk about this. They're running interviews, they're taking PDI calls, we call it personal daily interaction calls, so they're calling the reps who are out there selling, they're trying to help them sell, they're trying to help them build their business, because if they win, your son or your daughter wins too. So we have to grasp that. We're all built on a win-win basis. Like, that's my biggest win with Vector, by the way, is for me to win, I have to have other people win. I cannot just be a win-lose business. It won't work. It has to be a win-win. Your son, your daughter, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, or you, whoever's watching this, has to win for me to do well, right? Or your assistant manager, your district manager to do well. You have to create success stories. And I love that because corporate America is not like that. If you suck and you're in corporate America and you're an employee, your boss will just fire you and get a new you. With us, we're kind of forced to say, all right, I'm stuck with this kid in many cases. Let me just try to figure out how to make him better, how to make her better, right? And that's a huge win, right? And we have a lot of systems to help your kid, or your daughter, your son, or your boyfriend, girlfriend become better. So it's a huge, huge win to work in a business where people actually care about you, okay? Huge deal there. So anyways, talk about emotions, high, logic, low. We teach the 4 colors, right? So the 4 colors are this. So let's say we're gonna build a bridge, right? And there's red, there's blue, there's green, there's yellow, okay? So the reds are the ones that are like, all right, I'm gonna build, let's win, let's get it done, right? And they just wanna build a bridge, right? The greens are the ones, or the blues are the ones that come out and they're like, oh, we're gonna build a bridge? Okay, let's pop some bottles, let's have like a grand opening ceremony party. Like, they don't care what we're doing as long as it's fun, okay? So they're your very have fun people, right? And then the yellow ones are the ones that come out and go, wait a minute, what about the wildlife? What about the trees? I mean, is anything going to get hurt here? They're the ones who, they don't care what you know until they know that you care, right? And then the greens are the ones that come out, hey, hold up, idiots. How many lanes is this bridge? Is it wooden? Is it steel? Is it 4? Is it 2? I mean, what are we doing here, right? They're very analytical, right? And so we talk about the colors. It's at markaceta.com. You just go markaceta.com, personality test, free. Take it, try it out. This is the guy who taught me all this stuff. Great stuff. It's very basic. There's many personalities tests out there. Like there's a CVI. There's Dave Ramsey even has one. There's a lot, but they're very complicated. And they're like, you get a whole book on your personality afterwards. And you're like, oh crap. So this is very, very basic. You can teach a 5-year-old about the 4 colors and they'll get it and they understand it. So markaceta.com. Go check it out, take a personality test, see what colors you are, and the key is this, embrace your color. If you're yellow, rock being yellow, right? We're all rainbows, by the way, and the idea is this, we're all rainbows and we have all 4 colors in us, but we have a dominant color. And the difference and the goal is what I teach all the kids and all the people I work with is there's highly functioning, there's just functioning, and then there's dysfunctional, right? So highly functional, functional, and then dysfunctional. Your goal and what we teach our reps to be and our assistant managers, learn to become a highly functioning red, highly functioning yellow, blue, green, whatever you are. Highly functioning though, okay? That's the key. Next, our assistant managers, okay? So here's how the pay works. So we finally got to it. They get a percentage off the entire office sales of all the new business, right? So for all the new business sales, they're going to get a certain percentage depending on how much value they add within the week, right? Because we're paid weekly, and it can titter-totter in weeks. Most of the assistant managers, especially in my office, they get a percentage, and they're on that percentage usually for the whole campaign because our reps are pretty good on this. Our assistant managers are pretty solid, so we don't have many tough cookies in there where they're being very difficult to deal with or whatever it is. Usually everyone's on board, we're on the same boat, and no one's drilling holes. The only way that you're going to lose your value is if you're in there in our boat and we're trying to go forward, and either you're not helping in the boat or you're just drilling holes in the boat and trying to kill us all, right? So we always analyze every week or 2 weeks of what's going on, but the value you add, right? You're paid on value. It's a huge emotional test, right? Because think about all the people you're going to deal with on a daily basis, all the real world experience you're going to have to go through, right? There's a lot of stuff going on from an emotional standpoint, right? And then think about this, like how many times, like moms and dads out there, you had to think this was crazy at the beginning. I mean, it's selling knives, that's crazy as it sounds, right? And your kid gets home, they're super excited, oh, I'm going to sell knives, I'm going to do well, right? And you're like, what the hell are you smoking, right? Because that does sound crazy, and it's untraditional, it's not the traditional school system, so it just sounds ludicrous. And you weren't a positive support. So let's say you're running all this stuff in the office, and then they go home to whoever, and that person's negative too, right? They're having to battle all of this in their head, right? And I'm not against that, by the way. I think it builds a stronger person, it adds character, because if they can win through that, they can win through pretty much anything. So it's a huge test, right? But it's a huge emotional intelligent test, right? Through the summer, through the campaign, or whatever it may be, right? A good letter to read, The Message to Garcia. It's like a 3-page thing. There's a PDF on our Team No Sleep page, so if you aren't on the Team No Sleep page for whatever reason, get on there or have your son or daughter show it to you. Not the public page, but our private group page where we have all these files. There's so many files of good stuff. Rich Dad Poor Dad's on there. Message to Garcia's on there. Also, you can go to tinyurl.com, Message to Garcia, and there's a free PDF of it too that you can just save to your computer. You can also save it from the Team No Sleep page. So understanding that. And then the last thing I want to talk about is this: the soft skills you gain within this business. There are so many things that the traditional school system lacks. Now, I'm not against getting a college degree, but I'm not for going into tons and tons of debt with no ROI, with no return on the investment, with no job security set up. So many kids will graduate and they have no skills to back them up in the real world. So when they graduate with a college degree, when they graduate with their bachelor's, they go, well, I guess I'm going to go get my master's, right? Or, well, I guess I'll get this job that I didn't even need a college degree at, right? And they start to just give up, right? And I hate seeing that. You know, if you're 65, you can still kick ass, right? Go look up the KFC story, right? I mean, we have so many things where have goals, have dreams, have ambitions, get around solid people that are positive and they're going somewhere in life, and surround yourself by the right people. Huge win in Team No Sleep office, especially my office. Like, we're real big in that, right? Because remember, you're the average of the 5 people you surround yourself by the most, right? But these soft skills, running interviews, they have to learn professionalism. I mean, I love it when I meet with parents on day one, or sometimes their parents will come in or whatever, just within the first week. Sometimes their kids will make like $500, $1,000 in their check, and they'll come in and be like, "Is this real?" Right? So I get to meet the parents at the very beginning when the kid's wearing the beanie or the hair's down to here or whatever. And in a month of being an assistant manager, you're going to see this. They're dressed. I force them to get in suit and ties. Like, guys, you're tied up, baby. Like, that's how it works. Suit and tie. Like, we're looking sharp because we're professional, because you're very, very young. And to corporate America, if you're 20, I don't care if you're a cool 20-year-old, you need to wear a suit and tie because you're young, right? And you gotta grab that authority when you run that interview somehow. And dress does matter. How you dress matters. Your body language, right? We're not wearing our pants down to our legs anymore, and we're not talking like little thugs anymore. We're not talking about how those cool kids talk. We're not lit or ratchet or whatever it may be. And our body language is very focused when we run that interview. We're very professional. We're realizing we run a business, right? And it's a really cool thing to see these young kids come in, dress super sharp, run interviews, run the boat. They're steering the boat in a lot of senses, and it's so cool to see that. Huge confidence boost in the younger generation. The people skills, the skills they can develop by truly working with all the reps that we bring into the business is amazing. And words can't describe it. Like, you have to see it. You have to experience it. So a good test on this is throw your son, get his son or daughter in there, get him running interviews, get him being an assistant manager, have him earn that position to do that, and then just check them out in 2 months. 2 months later, just see how they are, right? And just see where they stand. And then the real world skills, you can't beat this, guys. This is stuff that goes on your resume and matters, In McAllen, we've done $6.5 million in sales in less than 4 years. Small business. That beats some of your bigger franchises out there in the valley. So I want you to understand that. And we're run by quote-unquote kids. So remember that. These are facts, guys, and this is the best part of it. It's all facts. I know some people have beliefs, and the belief is go to school, get a good grade, go to college, get a good grade, and then after that you'll be taken care of and the rest of your life will be, fine and dandy. Things are changing. I went over a lot of them, but things are changing. I'm so big on go get your college tuition. Go get your college tuition. Pay your college tuition, you won't be able to go to the traditional school system, right? Go to college. Don't get yourself an overwhelming amount of debts, right? Go ahead and go get a degree. It's a good thing to have. It's a good backup plan if you need it, right? But do it the smart way. If you need to take a year off and develop the money so you can pay your college tuition in full, I did that twice, by the way. I dropped out twice because I couldn't pay the bill full in a lot of cases. You have to make sure you can pay your college tuition full. If it's financial aid, great. If it's mom and dad, great. Whatever it may be, great. But just make sure it's taken care of. so we're not running ourselves into debt due to college, okay? Because it's gonna back you up a lot when you get into the real world, and it's gonna put you behind, okay? We're real big on good debt, okay? Imagine graduating college and owning a house, right? That sounds crazy, but I did it. I did it through Cutco. I did it through doing this and passing the class and all that kind of stuff. When I graduated college, when I got my bachelor's degree, I already owned my house. I have no debt, and technically I was like done, I guess you could say. You know, I technically could have retired, but I mean, that's a fact. And this is what your son and daughter are learning. This is what we're teaching them. And you know, I highly encourage you guys, reach out to me. Facebook, Facebook's big. I get a lot of messages, and it's not just from kids. I get a lot of messages from parents too. It's facebook.com, Nick Smith and Associates. You can pull up my link on there. Snapchat for all you kids. I'm on that a lot too. Instagram, it's Smith956. So Instagram is Smith956. Snapchat is Nick Smith956. Facebook is Nick Smith and Associates. Those are the three I check the most. And then my email, of course. I will check my email daily. It's RGV for Rio Grande Valley. RGVCutco.com at gmail.com. So rgvcutco@gmail.com. Reach out to me, guys. I'm encouraging everybody to reach out. You know, challenge me on all this stuff if you want. And let's grow together. Let's learn together. But my mission is to create success stories, and I truly believe the Valley can be the hit spot, the hot spot for the new era, especially within direct sales and changing lives and creating these success stories that are making $100K a year and living lives on their terms and doing all this stuff the right way and dressing sharp, you know, using the right vocabulary. Man, it's so cool to see those 20-year-olds walking around with professionals and being at their level in a lot of senses. It's a really cool thing to see. So once again, study all this stuff a lot. I gave you guys a lot of homework, I guess you could say, on what you guys can do. But dive in, and I highly, highly encourage you, if you're a loved one watching this, take passion in what your son or daughter, your boyfriend, girlfriend, or whoever's doing or embarks in this, guys. I promise you, it can be life-changing. It really can. It can change their life. We've had tons of success stories out there that has changed life. Ask them to show you some of them already, and they've just followed our program. I've been doing this for 4 years now. It's a lot's happening, guys, and it's all because we have the right vision, the right focus, but more importantly, we work our butts off on the right things. Okay, so it's what your kid's hearing, and I want to make sure you heard it too.